Bob, and you're watching WNS News. New details have emerged on the attempted abduction of Hanako Arasaka at the Arasaka-sponsored Dashi Parade. Early accounts first reported that the assailants struck as the parade was in full swing. They overwhelmed and seized control of the Arasaka Heiress's parade platform. Fortunately, Arasaka's security forces, under the personal direction of Yorinobu Arasaka, quickly tracked down the abductors and secured Hanako-sama. Yorinobu-sama has since issued a public...
Is that a trick question? This is a party, right?
Invitation only. For those who bleed red, white, and blue. So fuck off.
Whatever. I'm out.
Shit, I'm the one that's a meta. I ain't gonna far from doing anything creepy to a person you get to see counters, you know, for the shit they do. I'll be able to a year from now, 25 is 2025 is when I have a hearing, and I didn't do anything prior to fucking that December 1st. They can't go fucking rearrange things saying this out together when it was I was the only thing. They can't go fucking do that shit. You can sue them.
For a taste of sweet, 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 clean speed.
godson got 30,000. They ain't be able to fucking tell you that, but there's been words in writing into the fucking banker. Whoop your ass up there, Charlie. I don't want to fucking talk to you. They all fucking threaten the person that was here before you and tell you a bunch of crazy shit. Information now because it's not just bought off the time comes. It's bought off everything. They don't take anything off. You fucking log off of it forever. Ain't no Tina on anybody. Oh, fuck them on a banner and be able to fucking try to see it. If you put fuck them on a banner. Do anything. You can sue them for slandering someone's name, saying a bunch of crazy shit. Their parents weren't going to be alive that much longer, and they kept on saying it. So it determined me to be able to did what I did based upon what they said, and then get in trouble for saying that in front of a camera feed or ringing doorbell or whatever. Fuck that shit. Well, fart on the fucking mirror and live stream it. Stick my bare ass on it, just fart on it. Man, I won't fucking pick that shit up from the fucking. I'll fart on the fucking mirror. I just farted on the mirror. You ain't gonna take that from me. It'll smell like my fucking taint.
I know where it is. Bro, let the shell go. Let go of it. Oh, for fudge sickles. Sometimes I prefer... Hold on. No feather. Sometimes I surprise myself with just how much of a dum-dum I can be. So where am I supposed to get a feather from? Another level? You're gonna make me go to another level to get a feather? Literally flowers the entire level. Why though? Alright, let me see if I can get a feather. Was this a hard level? Oh, I can leave though. I can leave. I forgot. If I acquire a feather, can I just leave and take the feather with me? I don't remember. It's been so long. Eat shell, mother trucker. Look at me. I ride around on a feathery thing and throw hammers at you. Ooh. Shut up. More flowers? Are you serious? Dude. Oh my god. Can I just get like a feather, please? Like all these guys have feathers. Why can't I have one? Oh, here we go. Okay, flower, feather. Got it. Yeah. Alright, there we go. It worked. I knew it. And I got Yoshi. Oh, but I can't take Yoshi. Oh, I can't. Caverns. Good. Good work. Theory. Much pay for passage. Get that thing away. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah,
if
do that
I
to me.
go...
I can see
Yeah, so if I break these things, it should technically
Put all the
work,
shit in
because
the
I have this
basement,
guy
throw it
right
all in the
here. I
basement.
can...
You're gonna walk your ass up in the
That
basement,
with.
fall down, crack your head, up and fall down the basement.
Oh man, this is interesting. Or I could just break down these platforms. Okay, that's the route I'm in. What do you think, Yoshi? I think it sounds good. Alright, let's do it. Getting tactical. Great, that should work. Can I keep Yoshi? I don't know. Oh my god, you guys. That was too close. Okay, yeah, so it's underneath. I don't think I can go around the top either. Alright. Here we go. Oh, I can't get... there's no leverage there. That's interesting. I can do it if I come... I have to stop gliding, though. So close. Oh, no. Can I do it across 3 platforms? We'll see.
They all take a state away from somebody who was in here before them and look at property taxes that have been there before them. They could sue them. Being crazy with someone. I'm not even in their face bothered with that shit. The only thing is the loud music, but all that weird nightclub shit down there, and then go for it and have louder shit. Back then it was louder as hell. Saying, oh, Big Ross sees you butt ass naked running past the trannies and shit, you're gay or something. The restaurant was fucking there. That was a fucking weird ass radio station for having me be a part of that shit and get fucked over by some weird ass neighbors telling you a bunch of crazy shit.
Well, I guess that's that.
That wasn't back when Crown Vic Victoria was a Marquise car that we had parked there. We go on Google.
2-hour mark here,
fiber
guys.
fucking wire.
It's a good stream, and I appreciate y'all showing up. Jason, thanks for the membership.
Footage of nobody parked in there, and murking a guy at 4 in the morning.
Shoot me a comment down below. I'm gonna do obviously more of these streams because I'm gonna stream
Google
this
Fiber or that weird ass
shoot me a
Garcia
comment
guy
down below.
wouldn't have talked to my mom and dad.
Retro games you'd like to see me play or topics to discuss during retro. Historical stuff too, because I love, you know, talking historically or
I'll put my bare ass on that fucking mirror and fart, and you don't fucking take it from us.
But anyways, thanks for being here, guys.
Like
Hope y'all enjoyed it, had fun, had a good time listening, chatting, whatever. And guys, stay safe out there. All right, what's today? Thursday. Thursday, yeah. So be safe. Have a good weekend. I think. Wait, tomorrow I might stream and Sunday, I think. So, potentially. And also, do you guys like morning streams or evening streams? Which ones are better? Let me know. Alright, y'all take it easy.
Company release the Switch 2 release date. Skip it button. Do you like live streams? Oh, you do. Do you like hot fire beats? Oh, you do, but you wouldn't listen to them for me because you don't think I make those. Well, I do, and I have 2 channels in the description. RTU Streams is my live stream channel where I stream pretty much on a daily basis starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, at least it's guaranteed through Monday through Friday. And I make music. There's another channel below in the description. Also top pin comments. So check out my live stream channel, RTU Streams, and check out my music channel. Now my plug is done, and now we can talk about news featuring men. So if you remember back in the 90s, I believe they even had a device you put on the original PlayStation because it had a serial port on the back called Game Shark, and what it essentially did is it allowed you to put cheat codes into games and, you know, get infinite lives or whatever, have God mode, whatever the case may be. Well, anyway, Altic Lansing bought the Game Shark IP and they renamed it AI Shark. That just rolls right off the tongue. And they're going to be making their software also for the Nintendo Switch 2. And they had a press release, and in this press release, they say that their AI Shark software is going to coincide with the release date of the Nintendo Switch 2. And this is what they had to say. Altic Lansing, the leading global audio electronics company, today announces its role as its first licensee of AI Shark's cutting-edge gaming software. Formerly known as Game Shark, AI Shark is set to redefine the gaming landscape with its revolutionary AI-enhanced technology. I'm starting to really loathe AI. The innovative gaming software is set to mark a significant leap forward in the gaming experience, bringing enhanced gameplay for beginner-level users. The official launch is planned to coincide with the Nintendo Switch 2 in September 2024. And Altic Lansing is saying, hey, AI Shark is not going to be a cheating tool. It's going to help enhance a casual gamer's gameplay and make them get better over time. It's a cheating tool. Which, whatever. If you want to cheat in your games, cheat in your games. I don't care. However you have fun gaming, if you stick the controller up your ass and enjoy it, well, it's weird, but you could do it, and that's fine. However, if you're gaming and you like a dual shock up your butthole to give you some shocks, God bless. But you notice what they said there. It's going to coincide with the Switch 2 release date. They don't just say something like that unless they know something. Now, what I think happened was Angry Asian Man from Nintendo in Japan called up Altic Lansing. All right, I'm done. Anyway, the angry Asian man over at Nintendo called him up and said, yeah, you better say that you're just guessing and you have no idea when the release date is, or you will not have a license with us. You will not be able to sell your software or your whatever you're doing on our device, our next-gen console. So you better come out and say, hey, we were just guessing. We have no idea. And I have a feeling, look, Jason Schreier is always on point, but that's what I think happened behind the scenes. They probably had the wrath of God over at Nintendo call them, or Nintendo called them and unleashed the wrath of God, I mean to say, and they're like, you better say that you have no idea when this console is coming, or Shigeru Miyamoto is going to come there and come on you. So Jason Schreier wrote this on Twitter. An AI Shark spokesperson tells me they're just guessing about the next Nintendo console's release date. I call BS. I think it's the truth. I think they know. Now, it doesn't mean that Nintendo may shift the release date and they're planning on a September 2024 release date. I believe we talked about that before, that it might be either September or November. But I have a feeling AI Shark, Altic Lansing, knew something. They had a release date, and Nintendo, which, trust me, you could ask Jay, he knows, Nintendo likes when people keep their lips sealed. Jay Hooft is my editor, by the way, for those of you who don't know. But he has contacts over at places, and Nintendo, if they tell you to be quiet, you are quiet. And if there is a next-gen console coming from Nintendo and they're going to announce it soon, we can almost guarantee that's going to happen. This is big news, and you're damn well sure Nintendo is telling people to keep quiet, including Altic Lansing, and that's probably what happened here. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. Check out my live stream channel and music channels. Top pinned comment, top links in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy your birds.
R-E-S-P-C-T, find out what it our live broadcast.
Camelot 331 here, and there's a giant uproar going on with the poor, defenseless GameStop employees that for some odd reason are still there. And I don't really know why. It's kind of like they set you free from prison 10 years ago, but you keep going back and lock yourself in a jail cell. And they're like, sir, you need to leave. No, I kind of like my farts never making noises again. That's kind of what these employees are going through right now. And I urge them to do anything they can to look for another position, because you will find out immediately that you can make way more with way less stress. Before we get into this, make sure you like this video, share it with your boys, some shadow band as hell, comment down below, do all the things the algorithm loves, because if you don't, I will die. Is that what you want? And I know some of you will say yes, and that's messed up. So jumping right into the sauce, every single thing I read today is from the last 2 weeks. It says, put my 2 weeks in last week. My last day is scheduled tomorrow. I transferred between 2 stores, and it landed perfectly between transfers, so I wouldn't mess anyone up. The customer base this month has just been abysmal, and it's not worth the pay. Had a game thrown at me because of the new return policy. Been yelled at countless times over the concept of not being able to return new things that are open. Had to call non-emergency police to escort some people out of the store because of the new warranty policy. And I'll explain that after this. It says, customer gets angry that the display cases don't mean they're in stock. Shocking. I can't imagine these all are normal experiences for 1 month. GameStop has a new policy to where if you buy a new system there, or a new controller, or a new anything, if you get the warranty for it, the PRP, the GPG, well, they have to give you a used item. You no longer get the new one anymore. Why? Because the profit margin is so much higher on the used one. So they're basically just stealing the money. So that's why people are pissed. So they're done working here. It says, after working for GameStop off and on for the past 4 years, I'm officially done. All the policies they have changed in the last few months have legitimately made me stop selling and discourage people from getting warranties. I loved working here and my coworkers, but ever since I came back in September, I've seen every shred of decent deals that GameStop have died. 2 years ago, I worked 40 hours this week from December 23rd to the 30th, and today I've been yelled at, treated horribly, more than my past 4 years combined. And the thing is that while it isn't my fault, I cannot blame the customer for being pissed about these terrible things that corporate has cut back on and changed without their knowledge. Leadership makes these cuts and makes it our job to fix it with the customer. I'm handing in my 2 weeks soon, and I wish this was a simple, easy job I had in 2019. Hell, I couldn't even imagine 2019, let alone now. I left in 2018, and it was a nightmare back then. Although I will say, in 2011, 12, 14, those were decent years. So I don't know what the hell happened. Obviously, the leadership has changed like 8 times now. So that's kind of what's going on. So people are starting to promote themselves to customer. Didn't even make it 1 year. Covered Christmas Eve so my coworkers could enjoy their holiday. Sucks because this job should be fun, but money grubbing and metric obsession from corporate has soured me irreversibly. Peace and love to all, and good luck to those who are staying. The metric system for GameStop was so overbearing when I was there, and apparently it's 10 times worse now. They will fire you in 2 seconds, although they need talent. They claim they need talented individuals, but they fire all their talented individuals for having an off week. So they're finally done. After 7 years of this damn company, I finally left. Found a job that's 40 hours a week, off by 4 p.m., weekends off, paid holidays, paid vacation, matching 401k, way better health insurance, overtime if needed without approval, and the best, a pay raise every year. Damn! I put up with a lot of BS throughout these years, never could plan anything because I always had to cover shifts, and it actually got to the point where I wouldn't plan anything, and I would just lay in bed and wait for a call. Dude, this is like PTSD for me. I never had to worry about being called in, worry about getting sick and trying to find coverage, and still end up with no one calling in. And now, I can call off without feeling guilty. Life is coming together. Never stop looking for that better opportunity. And recognize what you have at the same time. Do you value it? With GameStop, I doubt it. There's not a redeeming factor left. That's why people officially start putting their 2 weeks in. Got an offer for a job within the county where I live. I keep applying if you're trying to get out. I'm sure you'll find something. You just got to keep applying, babe. Screw this company, and best of luck to those who are still trying to leave. I'm going to be honest. Who gives GameStop a 2 weeks at this point? Who gives most corporations a 2 weeks? They're not obligated to do so for you when they're going to fire you or lay you off. They just do it without notice. But you're held to a higher standard than a multi-billion-dollar corporation? Seems a little silly. So today was my last day. Ooh, my former SL stopped by right before close and informed me that my Pro Card performance hadn't improved since last quarter. I was told the other day that I'm only missing it by 4% for the year. I'm good with warranties and hardware attached. It is extremely difficult to sell a membership to someone buying codes or elderly just to be there for Christmas shopping. I can't even justify spending $25 on it, and I'm not going to. That's the whole point. He was like, I think you know where this is going. And yes, I did. I didn't even care because I lost faith in this company a long time ago. Each new change has brought it more and more of a reduction of faith. See, that's the thing, man. If you don't even believe in what you're selling, then it's doomed. Back when I was there, the Pro Card was $15 and you got 10% off. If I knew a customer bought hundreds and hundreds of dollars of used games a year, I'm like, dude, get this card. And it still felt shady, but the card actually saved the money at the time. It doesn't at all anymore. It's quite literally just ripping people off. And GameStop's wanting their employees to be vague to just keep the metrics up and rob people. That's pretty much how it is now. They don't even care who knows. I officially put in a new job application for another place of work, and hopefully I get a job because I'm so done with being at GameStop. I'm there practically every day from open to close. I've had customers actively threatening me. I've had to deal with a dude coming in here and jerking himself off inside the store.
Haley Freilinger has, what's this?
Harriet.
What?
Get up with me. Switch to Chrome to stay in sync across devices, so your tabs go everywhere you go. Fast, safe, yours. Get Chrome for Windows.
Oh my gosh! And yet my boss is mentioning that my metrics are really low, and if there's no improvements, they're gonna have to take corrective measures. And all I'm thinking is, what y'all gonna fire me? Because if you do, I don't give a damn. But also, how dare you? I've been putting up with this BS from the inefficiency of this damn company, and you want to be upset because I'm not getting warranties? Let me tell you, I'm at the mall, the luxury mall. No one there is thinking about signing up for Pro. It's crazy, man. I love this person right here. This is the best message ever. They're just like, I don't give a fuck every 2 seconds. And that's how you should be. The company doesn't care about you. And this goes for every corporate company. Look, I understand. But GameStop's been in the monocle telescope for a long time. It's very obvious what's going on. So some of you need to do something. You need to finally leave. After all the policy changes, holiday season, poor district management, and overall lack of care from higher ups, I'm officially gone. My SL, who was also an SL2, was let go, and the rest of the store seemingly followed. Our stores went from 10 employees to 2 employees within the span of an hour. Our SL was the only reason we stayed, and with him not being there, we definitely weren't staying around to see the replacement. I only put this here to warn people who come asking if GameStop's worth it. No! I started working here in 2022, and in my mind, I love gaming, and would love to be surrounded by fellow gamers. This is true, and that's the enjoyable part. But it's the higher-ups that ruin it. Even sometimes the customers. Though I normally agree with them on how whack the policies are. Solo coverage during holiday season. All the tasks while trying to meet store goals. I hate to leave, as I love my regulars and working with customers, but this company is going downhill more and more. If you have not gotten out yet, you need to do it, because something big's on the horizon. Something big's on the horizon, and I'll have another video coming for you very, very shortly about it. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got that bell on, baby, like a damn dog. That's you. You can be my dog. You'll be hilarious. But not in like a weird way, in like a really cool way. Make sure you follow me on all the stuff. Make sure you comment down below, like the stuff, do all the things, and until next time, get the hell on it. Doggone it. Bye. Yeah.
The Covenant aren't the only baddies in the galaxy though, and it's not long before Master Chief and co come face to face with a parasitic flood. Their release prompts the AI and caretaker of Halo, 343 Guilty Spark, to recruit Master Chief so they can activate the Halo's defenses. But before they're able to do so, AI Cortana stops them, revealing that if fired, Halo would destroy all sentient life in the galaxy, which admittedly would stop the flood, but is a rather extreme way of going about it. Only it transpires that 343 Guilty Spark knew this all along, and was more than happy to activate Halo regardless. A true gut punch that has left us gamers unable to ever truly trust an AI. Alexa, you wouldn't try to wipe out all sentient life, right? Right? Number 77, the Noontech Diagnostic Machine, Dead Space 2. Some moments in video games stick with players because they're so heartwarming. Others, like Dead Space's series protagonist Isaac Clarke's brush with the Noontech Diagnostic Machine, are only memorable because they are downright horrifying. Set on the Sprawl space station, which is built amongst the remains of Saturn's largest moon, Titan, Dead Space 2 sees Isaac Clarke once again fighting off the necromorphs who've overrun Sprawl, as well as the debilitating mental illness that's been induced by the alien markers. In order to destroy one of said markers, Isaac needs information. Sadly, he's left his copy of Destroying Markers for Dummies in his other spacesuit, and the only alternative is as wince-inducing as they come. So that he can download the necessary info into his brain, Isaac is forced to utilise the Noontech Diagnostic Machine, which passes on its knowledge by means of a very large, very scary-looking needle that is plunged right through the victim's, user's eyeball. What's perhaps worse for players than looking on in horror as a beloved protagonist experiences a less than ideal trip to the opticians is the fact that they themselves have to control the needle, and doing a bad job at it results in one of the goriest deaths in video game history. Should have gone to Specsavers, I suppose. Number 76, Milk Twist over a helicopter, Tony Hawk's Underground. If I was asked to choose between climbing into a futuristic machine that stabs a needle into my eye and attempting to skateboard over an airborne helicopter, honestly, I'd probably go for the eye needle. I'm more than happy to watch little digital skaters attempt the latter though, because oh my, is the end result bloody cool. Released in 2003 for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube and Game Boy Advance, Tony Hawk's Underground was the 5th major installment in the Tony Hawk franchise, and was the follow-up to 2002's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. The game retained a similar style of gameplay to its predecessors, with the main difference being the player character was a custom one, and there was a plot that tied the whole thing together. The story itself follows the player character and their friend Eric Sparrow as they become professional skaters and slowly begin to grow apart. Whilst filming in Hawaii, Eric and the player climb to the top of a tall hotel so that they can film some tricks. It's at this point that perhaps the coolest moment in video gaming history happens. See, the player character doesn't intend to commit a couple of kickflips and an ollie to film. No sir, they intend to skate off the edge of the hotel's roof and perform a muck twist over the spinning blades of a helicopter. And they do. And it's magnificent. Number 75, Kefka Destroys the World, Final Fantasy VI. Over the years, we've seen video game villains doing some real evil stuff. Murder, genocide, kidnapping and torture are all things we've come to expect from our favourite baddies, but the destruction of the world at the hands of Kefka in Final Fantasy VI took even us by surprise. Final Fantasy VI was released for the SNES in 1994, and tells the story of Terra and the numerous people she encounters after being freed as a slave. The diverse group of characters at the centre of the plot stand against the Empire, led by Emperor Gestal, who rule the world through fear. Alas, the Empire isn't as strong and stable as it might first appear, and Gestal is murdered by his general Kefka, who usurps him in the process. A somewhat unhinged Kefka then tampers with the world's magical balance, and pretty much the entirety of the world's surface is destroyed, leaving players and the rest of the game's characters completely dumbfounded. Now, an antagonist that wants to destroy the world is nothing new, but generally speaking, a game's heroes will intervene, often at the last minute, and stop them before any real damage is done. It's for this reason that Kefka's little manoeuvre has stayed in the memory of Final Fantasy fans for the past 3 decades. Honestly, never saw this one coming. Number 74. memorable plot twist, there's one of the worst kept secrets in gaming. These days, knowing that Scott Shelby, the PI that Heavy Rain players assumed was one of the good guys, was actually the infamous origami killer all along, is like knowing that water is wet, or 2 + 2 = 4, but at the time of the game's release, it was a real revelation. The game itself follows sad dad Ethan Mars as he tries to save his son Sean from the origami killer, a serial murderer who kidnaps young boys in order to test their fathers, drowning them should their parents fail in their tasks. Throughout Heavy Rain, players step into the shoes of 4 different characters: Sean's father Ethan Mars, journalist Madison Page, FBI profiler Norman Jaden, and private investigator Scott Shelby. As the story progresses, players join Scott as he allegedly attempts to track down the origami killer, and it's only at the end of the game that we find out that this hasn't been the case at all, and instead, Scott is simply attempting to tie up any loose ends that would lead to him being caught. The reveal left players shocked, horrified, and hurt in equal measure. Well, I guess that's what we get for trusting a man we barely knew. Number 73, Big Smoke's Order, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Here at Team Triple Jump, we just love our food. Heck, we've even got our own cooking show.
That is the way to do it.
Oh, please be careful of the other knife. No, please don't do it.
I wouldn't want to be arrogant or anything, but I don't think it's unfair to say that we're basically Gordon Ramsay, but with fewer wrinkles. With that said, although we all enjoy a grand meal every now and then, I don't think there's a single one of us that will be able to put away Big Smoke's Order from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. This absolute behemoth of a meal is ordered by Big Smoke from fictional fast food restaurant Cluck and Bell, and consists of 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda. Now, admittedly, 3 of these items are meant for Smoke's companions, but that still leaves a number 9 large, a number 7, 2 number 45s, and a large soda for the man himself. Dedicated fans of the game have come to the conclusion that Smoke ends up with a fillet burger, 2 fowl burgers, a fowl wrap, plus a whole load of chips and a drink. As kids, we were very jealous of the order, but as 30-somethings, we can feel our arteries hardening just thinking about it. On an unrelated note, I could really go for some fried chicken right about now. Number 72, Fighting Tyson, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Even taking into account that he's more than double the age of most of us here at Team Triple Jump, not a single one of us, including our boxing editor, Alex, would stand a chance in a real-world fight against Mike Tyson. Thankfully, video games exist, so we can all at least pretend we're hard enough to take on one of the greatest boxers of all time. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Was adapted from the arcade games Punch-Out! And Super Punch-Out! And was released for the NES in 1987. Players stepped into the shoes, or rather pulled on the gloves, of Little Mac, a boxer trying to make his way up the ranks of the World Video Boxing Association. In order to make it to the tippy top, he must face and beat the very best. After successfully besting a series of opponents, Little Mac has one final challenge ahead of him: beat Mike Tyson. Now these days, Mike Tyson is probably most famous for sporting a somewhat silly face tattoo, and for some seriously reprehensible behaviour in the early 90s, but at the time of the game's release, he was the world heavyweight champion. As such, the pride players felt after beating him was incomparable. After all, they'd just taken on the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme, and emerged victorious. We can only imagine how good it would have felt. Number 71, Psycho Mantis breaks the 4th wall, Metal Gear Solid. We've experienced a number of frightening moments in our time as gamers, but on most occasions, we can calm down by telling ourselves that it's just a game, and the game is confined to our consoles and can't actually do anything to us. Then, Hideo Kojima decided that it would be really good fun to have one of his characters be able to actually mess with players. Horrible. Genius, but utterly horrible. Partway through 1998's Metal Gear Solid, players go face to face with Psycho Mantis, a psychic profiler and telekinesis expert working for Liquid Snake's Foxhound unit. Not only is the villain able to read the minds of characters in the game, but seemingly he can read the mind of the player as well. Somewhat terrifyingly, Psycho Mantis was able to tell players what other PlayStation games they'd been playing, could make their controller move across the floor using his psychokinetic powers, and was even able to preempt all of their attacks. Naturally, this was just the game reading players' memory cards, setting off the vibration in the DualShock controller, and reacting to the controller inputs, which could only be overcome by disconnecting your controller and plugging it into another port. But as youngsters, many players didn't realise this, and genuinely thought that Psycho Mantis had psychic powers. Truly spooky stuff.
Number 17. Roland's Death, Borderlands 2. The Borderlands series isn't exactly famed for its emotional heft, which is probably part of the reason that Roland's death was so devastating to players. We were just here to have some fun, and now everything's all sad and stuff. We didn't sign up for this. Roland was first introduced in 2009's Borderlands and was one of the 4 playable characters that players could choose from. He then made his next appearance in 2012's Borderlands 2. Prior to meeting the new Vault Hunters, Roland was captured by the bandit group The Bloodshots, who were looking to claim the bounty placed on his head. Once players have rescued Roland, he is able to resume his position as leader of the Crimson Raiders and will assign quests to the player. Later, Roland joins the Vault Hunters as they attempt to retrieve the Vault Key from Control Core Angel. He's able to lower the shields, protecting Angel's iridium injectors, which allows the Vault Hunters to destroy them, but just as it seems like our heroes have succeeded, he's shot dead by antagonist Handsome Jack. Naturally, players were devastated to see such a beloved character murdered before their very eyes, but what was perhaps the most galling thing about it was the fact that it came completely out of nowhere. Of course, Handsome Jack gets what's coming to him in the end, but no number of bullets to his megalomaniacal head could ever bring back our dear Roland, or indeed, the heartbreak we all experienced. Rest easy, soldier. Number 69. Nice! Tim is the villain all along. Raid. We've all experienced times in our lives when we've backed the wrong horse, and it will often leave us feeling very disappointed in ourselves for having been played for a fool. Sometimes video games will trick us into rooting for the wrong person too, but generally speaking it will only be for a short while before the true protagonist is revealed. Not Braid though, no, Braid had us cheering on the villain for its entire runtime, only to reveal right at the end that its main character is a bit of a bastard. Throughout this 2009 puzzle platformer, players take on the role of Tim, a man who is attempting to save a princess from a monster. Who Tim is to the princess remains a mystery to the player, and the only thing we're told is that he's made some sort of mistake for which he hopes to make amends. In the last level of the game, Tim is able to make it to the home of the princess, but when he gets there, he finds himself locked out. It's at this point that it transpires that the level has been playing out in reverse, and that the knight, from whom the princess appears to be running, is actually trying to rescue her, and it's Tim that's been the monster all along. We'd usually be mad at being duped in such a way, but we really have to hand it to Braid for giving us one of the finest plot twists in gaming history. Number 68. Jin's Horse Falls, Ghost of Tsushima. Thus far on this list, we've revisited some of the most devastating human deaths in video game history, and they are all, without exception, truly upsetting. As much as it pains us to see a person die, though, it's undoubtedly far more distressing when we have to witness the death of an animal companion. Of all of the furry friends we've lost over the years, though, few have stuck with us quite like the demise of Jin's horse in Ghost of Tsushima. Players first make the acquaintance of Jin's trusty steed at the beginning of Ghost of Tsushima, and even get the chance to name them, either Nobu, meaning trust, Sora, meaning sky, or Kage, meaning shadow. Throughout Jin's many trials and tribulations, his horse remains by his side, and most players became quite attached to their equine pal. Alas, a happy ending was not on the cards for Jin's horse. At the end of Act 2, Jin is imprisoned by his uncle while trying to track down antagonist Khan. Thanks to Kenji, though, he's able to break out, find his horse, and escape his captors, though not before his noble steed has taken a number of arrows. Ever faithful, Jin's horse carries him as far away as possible, but ultimately his wounds prove fatal. The scene as the injured mount presses forwards despite clearly suffering is heartbreaking to behold, and there wasn't a dry eye in the room when the horse finally fell. Number 67. Lee's Goodbye, The Walking Dead Season 1. Saying goodbye to a cherished video game character is never an easy task, but being forced to choose between euthanizing a faithful companion or leaving them to turn into a terrifying monster, as players are in The Walking Dead Season 1, is frankly unbearable. The Walking Dead Season 1 and its many follow-ups are set in the same world as The Walking Dead comics and TV show, but rather than featuring characters that fans of the franchise already knew, Telltale opted to tell the stories of brand new characters. Season 1's main protagonist is Lee Everett, a man who has been transported to prison to begin a life sentence for murder just as the zombie apocalypse kicks off. After his police cruiser hits a walker and crashes, Lee is able to escape, and he makes it to a suburban home in which he finds Clementine, an 8-year-old girl who is alone as her parents went to Savannah and left her with a babysitter. Over the course of the game, Lee becomes something of a father figure to Clem and tries unsuccessfully to reunite her with her parents. Whilst their group shelters in an abandoned mansion near Savannah, Clem is kidnapped, and in his haste to find her, Lee is bitten. Thankfully, Lee is able to save the girl, but he ultimately succumbs to the infection, and heartbroken players are forced to choose whether to have Clem leave him to turn or shoot Lee to spare him his grisly fate. No, I'm not crying. You're crying. Number 66. Iwao dies in Ryo's arms. Shenmue. Sometimes, all it takes is the premise of adventure to set a protagonist on their journey. Other times, like in 1999's Shenmue, tragic circumstances give a protagonist no choice but to set out on their quest. Of course, it does sadden us that Iwao gets murdered, but without it, we wouldn't have gotten such a fantastic game. Sometimes, sacrifices are necessary in the name of entertainment. Despite being over 2 decades old, the opening to Shenmue still stands out as one of the most shocking and memorable in video game history. In 1986, teenage protagonist Ryo Hazuki returns to his family dojo one day to find his father, Iwao Hazuki, locked in a confrontation with the game's antagonist, Lan Di. Lan Di is able to overpower Iwao and demands to know where the mysterious dragon mirror is hidden, threatening Ryo's life as he does so. Not wanting to see his son killed, Iwao gives up the location of the mirror, but it transpires that Lan Di isn't just there for the artifact, and asks Iwao if he remembers Chao Sung-ming, a man Iwao murdered before striking a killing blow. As Lan Di and his men leave, poor Ryo is helpless as his father dies in his arms. That's been 3 devastating deaths in a row now. I think we'd better choose something slightly more light-hearted for this next entry. Number 65. The Train. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. We know exactly what will cheer you all up after we've talked about the demises of several much-loved video game characters. A much-loved video game character in mortal peril, of course. Thankfully, Uncharted series protagonist Nathan Drake does ultimately survive this somewhat chaotic commute, but that didn't stop the whole debacle from keeping players on the edge of their seats and chewing their fingernails to nubs. Set 2 years after Uncharted Drake's fortune, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves sees treasure hunters Nathan Drake and Chloe Fraser and journalist Elena Fisher searching for the Chintamani Stone and Shambhala, all whilst battling war criminal Zoran Lazarevic and his militia. Whilst pursuing Lazarevic, Nate is able to catch up to his train and fights his way through a number of Lazarevic's men in order to find Chloe. When she refuses to leave, Nate finds himself cornered and, having no other choice, opts to cause an explosion that derails the train and leaves it dangling over a cliff. Both what preceded and follows are perhaps some of the most tense moments we gamers have ever experienced, as Nate then attempts to climb up the wreckage to safety. Of course he makes it, and being the series protagonist he was always going to, but the whole situation caused us players some serious anxiety. It was very cool though. Number 64. Tequila Sunset, Disco Elysium. We've all done things that we're less than proud of when we've imbibed one too many alcoholic beverages. For most of us, though, our embarrassing antics generally extend only as far as texting something regrettable to an ex or showing ourselves up at karaoke. What a hero, look at him go. I imagine most people have never gotten so drunk that they've driven their car off a jetty whilst giving themselves a new jaunty nickname. Most people, however, aren't Disco Elysium protagonist Harry Dubois. One of the many mysteries that Harry must solve throughout Disco Elysium's runtime is finding the identity of the traffic hooligan, a joyrider that has jumped a vehicle over the canal and crashed it. Once the water lock has been fixed, Harry and his partner Kim will be able to access the coast and wait for low tide. And when the vehicle is revealed, Harry finds his badge inside and comes to the shocking realization that he himself is in fact the traffic hooligan. By speaking to the Union of Moribund Alcoholics in the fishing village, players find out that not only did Harry crash the car whilst on a drunken bender, but prior to doing so had dubbed himself Tequila Sunset and declared that the time hath come for the end of all things. On the surface, the whole debacle sounds hilarious, but it's actually quite a tragic glimpse into the psyche of a man who doesn't feel like he has all that much to live for. Trust us, the longer you reflect on it, the worse you'll feel. Number 63. Exiting the Sewers, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. If there's one thing that Bethesda is well known for, aside from re-releasing Skyrim every 3 weeks, it's grand openings, and few are quite as epic as that of The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. In the 4th installment in the Elder Scrolls series, players are entrusted with the Amulet of Kings and must attempt to thwart the efforts of a fanatical cult who is attempting to open a portal to the demonic realm of Oblivion. It's up to the player character to journey across Cyrodiil and undertake various quests in order to ensure that Tamriel doesn't become overrun with demons. Before all of that, though, they must escape from prison. Held for an undisclosed crime, the player is pardoned by Emperor Uriel Septim VII, whom they then join for a delightfully dreary jaunt through the sewers. Players could have been forgiven for thinking that the entire game would consist of dark, grimy, monster-filled dungeons, and after half an hour or so of wandering about underground, they might have come to the conclusion that their character would never see the light of day again. Thankfully, that wasn't the case, and there was a literal light at the end of the tunnel. I doubt any of us will ever forget that first look at Cyrodiil in all of its majesty. Truly, a breathtaking sight to behold. Number 62. Starkiller brings down a Star Destroyer. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. If you're a fan of Star Wars, then you'll know that Force users are capable of some fairly impressive feats. Darth Vader has the ability to choke the life out of someone without even touching them. Master Yoda can lift an X-Wing out of a bog with just his mind, and Obi-Wan Kenobi can always be counted upon to find the high ground. However, perhaps the coolest thing we've ever seen a Star Wars character do is pull a whole-ass Imperial Star Destroyer out of the sky using only the power of the Force. That, my dudes, is metal as heck. Released in 2008, Star Wars The Force Unleashed tells the story of Galen Marek, aka Starkiller, a powerful Force user and apprentice of Darth Vader, as he attempts to foster rebellion within the galaxy in order to create the perfect conditions to allow Vader to overthrow the Emperor. In order to convince more people to join the rebellion, Vader tasks Starkiller with attacking a Star Destroyer facility on Raxus Prime to demonstrate to the galaxy that the Empire isn't as strong as it claims to be. As he devastates the facility, a Star Destroyer begins approaching, and fast. Rather than fleeing, though, Starkiller uses the Force to pull it from the sky, sending it crashing to the ground below. I suppose size really doesn't matter after all. Number 61. Logain's Betrayal. Dragon Age Origins. Now, we're not naive enough to think that every character we meet in a video game is on the up and up, but that still doesn't prevent us from feeling somewhat betrayed regardless when we get stabbed in the back by them. Case in point, Logain's dick move at the beginning of 2009 BioWare RPG Dragon Age Origins. Inspired by the likes of The Lord of the Rings and A Song of Ice and Fire, Dragon Age Origins puts players into the role of either a warrior, mage, or rogue, and tasks them with defeating the archdemon that commands a monstrous force known as the Darkspawn. At the beginning of the game, the player character is recruited into the Ferelden Grey Wardens by Duncan, the Grey Wardens commander, and the pair journey to Ferelden's southern fortress to join Cailan, the King of Ferelden, and his father-in-law and legendary general, Logain. Upon arrival, the player undergoes a ritual to induct them into the Grey Wardens, and must then join their comrade Alistair in lighting a beacon which will serve as a signal to Logain's men, who will then charge the Darkspawn horde. Only, Logain decides to save his own hide instead, and abandons the battlefield, leaving his men, along with Cailan and Duncan, to be slain by the Darkspawn, who then proceed to take control of the fortress. What a knobber.
Number 60. Choosing your starter Pokemon. Pokemon Red and Blue. As gamers, we're often faced with impossible choices. Which companion to save, which side to take in a battle, what to say to an NPC, all very tough. The trickiest choice we've ever had to make, though, is undoubtedly which starter Pokemon to pick at the beginning of Pokemon Red or Blue. Both games are set in the Kanto region, which is based on the real-life Kanto region of Japan. Players start their journey in Pallet Town, from which they set out to explore, collect Pokemon, and become a Pokemon Master. Before they head out, though, they'll need their starter Pokemon, which is provided to them by Pokemon researcher Professor Oak. Players accompany Oak to his laboratory, where they're given a choice of 3 adorable creatures: the Water-type Squirtle, Grass-type Bulbasaur, or Fire-type Charmander. All 3 have their strengths and weaknesses. Charmander, for example, can easily best a grass type like Bulbasaur, but would get its ass handed to it by a water type such as Squirtle, and so choosing was an absolute nightmare for players. Regardless of which starter Pokemon you pick, though, both Pokemon Red and Blue were fantastic games. But I don't think any of us will ever forget just how difficult it was to choose our very first Pokemon. Oh, and in case you're wondering, mine was Charmander. Charizard for the win, am I right? Number 59. Pac-Man meets Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man. The world of video gaming is filled to the brim with iconic couples. Mario and Peach, Ethan and Elena, Geralt and Yennefer, or Triss if that's the direction you decided to take things in, all romantic duos that had players believing in the power of love. Perhaps the absolute most iconic video game couple of them all, however, is Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man, who first met all the way back in 1982 and have been going strong ever since. Gamers even got to witness their monumental union in Miss Pac-Man, the game in which the two first set eyes on each other, and it's safe to say it was love at first sight. Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man first meet at the end of Stage 1, and once they've shaken off the ghosts that are harassing them, it's heart eyes all round. As the game progresses, so does their romance, and over the course of Miss Pac-Man's runtime, the two fall in love, have a baby, and finally head off into the sunset to live happily ever after. God, it's almost enough to bring a tear to your eye, isn't it? Almost. What, you think I'd get teary over the love of two pixelated yellow blobs? Well, you'd be wrong. You'd be very wrong, so just shut up about it, okay? Number 58.
What's the best way to hold on to the magic of the holidays? Festive sweaters? Getting the holiday pass for $18.99.
It probably wouldn't have 3 leftover screws. Don't just eat oats, eat bunches of oats.
We're sticking with heartwarming couples for the moment as we turn our attention to Yuna and Tidus, or Tidus if you want to get wrong pronunciation about this. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Two of the playable characters from 2001's Final Fantasy X.
Police said they were gonna make me a police guard or whatever the fuck. They can't go forth and be crazy with it.
That'll drop off significantly though. The St. Joe area to Cameron, Chillicothe, like that 1 to 3 inch range, and then for us a dusting to 2 inches. I think that 2 inches might be a little on the high side, but just wanted to cover that range there. I think right now, kind of on that lower end is my current thought process. Right now it's dry and temperatures are in the 30s again, so not too bad out there as we speak. And those temperatures also a big factor to why I don't expect a lot of snow initially. 32 will be our morning high tomorrow. That'll be at midnight. Then temperatures drop with a strong northwest wind. Look at where we'll be in the afternoon. 10 for a afternoon temperature. Real temp. Below 0 wind chills expected. Not just tomorrow afternoon, through the entire weekend as well. Chiefs game on Saturday should be around 7 for kickoff. 2 for a high. Sunday morning, I think in your Security Bank 7-day forecast, we're talking feels like temperatures down to 35 below 0. I don't have 20s in the forecast until next Wednesday. So Brad, this is a dangerous stretch. It is going to be locked in for a while.
Boy, it's something we all have to take serious for sure. Thanks, Warren. The Biden administration announces more than $620 million for new electric vehicle charging stations across the country. And more than $3 million of it is going to Missouri. The full grant will fund 47 projects in 22 states and Puerto Rico. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg says it will result in 7,500 new charging ports. In Missouri, that money will help build 44 new EV chargers and 2 parking garages, a public library, and an airport. Funding comes from the bipartisan infrastructure law. President Biden's goal is to have 500,000 EV chargers by the end of the decade.
Some good economic news to pass along to you this afternoon. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the inflation rate improved over the course of last year. Now, this doesn't mean things are getting cheaper necessarily, and those high prices could mean we'll also continue to see the higher interest rates.
Well, scientists abroad think this little fish can solve some big problems. Still ahead, why scientists think they can hold some secrets to what makes people sick.
KCTV5 wants to help you make a job connection. The Missouri Department of Transportation is hiring mechanics and equipment technicians for Independence, Lee Summit, Kansas City, and Odessa. Just scan this QR code here on the top right-hand side of your screen for more information.
This is KCTV5 News. Closed captioning brought to you by St. Luke's Mid-America Heart Institute, celebrating 1,000 heart transplants.
The most important thing is family. AAA shares the same family values. For over 100 years, AAA has been providing legendary service and has helped who it values most, its members. Join our family, and you could save hundreds on your auto insurance policy with our competitive pricing. That could make a real difference to your budget. The savings you could earn by switching to AAA insurance will allow you to do more of what you love and spend more time with those who matter most. Now is a great time to review your auto insurance policy. Our team of qualified agents are here to help you with a free quote. AAA roadside assistance with AAA auto insurance keeps you covered when you're on the road and when you can't get back on it. To find out how much you could save by switching to AAA insurance, call 844-AAA Insurance or visit AAA.com/insurance for your free auto insurance quote today. You'll be glad you did. AAA, we're always with you.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
It's playoffs time, KC. Rally House has the Chiefs gear you're looking for, including Chiefs official postseason gear and the latest styles fit for the kingdom.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas City, Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House, it's your city, it's your house, it's a Rally House.
Gear up in-store and online at rallyhouse.com.
When it comes to local sports, only one place rewrites the playbook every night. KC Sports Tonight is the only game in town with 30 minutes of non-stop sports, 7 nights a week. We've got more coverage when you want it, behind the scenes and in the trenches, wherever, whenever your teams play. That means more high school, college, more local sports, more time to do it right every night. KC Sports Tonight, powered by NFM.
Car accident? If you're thinking of handling your own injury claim, here's a great do-it-yourself tip.
Don't. If things go wrong, you pay the price.
You can get in over your head with the insurance company, costing yourself more time and more money in the long run.
After an accident, don't do it yourself.
Call us at Devon James and get it right the first time. Car accident? Kansas City knows. Devon James wins. 999-9999.
Every night, our goal is to help you feel safer and more connected to Kansas City.
I just wanted to hold her in my arms and know she's okay.
And warning you first before your weather changes.
Need you to take this storm seriously.
Only on KCTV5 News at 10.
Sharon Chen, weeknights on KCTV5.
Coming up at the top of the hour on your news at 4 o'clock, with temperatures plunging like this, we could see some heating costs rising. Ahead at 4, we talked to Kansas energy companies about keeping your bills low over these next couple of days. All right, listen to this one. Miller Lite wants to help you stay on track if you're backing off the booze for dry January. Beer Brand is launching a non-alcoholic beer mint. The company says these mints have the same taste as Miller Lite. No alcohol, by the way. They start out kind of minty, but then apparently you start to taste the beer as you continue to chew. The mints go on sale tomorrow online, and I guess they're expecting a giant surge of orders because they plan to release a second round of beer mints the next Friday as well. Two big shipments coming.
You know I enjoy a beer or two. I say no way to beer mints. That just sounds
mints.
weird. No, I say no.
If anything,
no.
it'll make you want to taste a real beer next.
Right. Hey, scientists in Sweden are breeding thousands of zebrafish to be used in research they hope could reveal the cause of some human illnesses.
CBS's Ian Lee explains now from London.
Scientists are fishing for answers in these tanks. At this lab in Sweden, they're scaling up their research with 20,000 zebrafish.
Here we have a breeding tank where we have male fish and female zebrafish together.
Researchers say since we share 70% of our genetic makeup with them, the striped fish could unlock the secrets behind a number of diseases.
You can use zebrafish in everything from cancer research. You can transplant cancer cells into the zebrafish and test new cancer drugs.
Last year, scientists in England found fasting affected the quality of eggs and sperm in zebrafish, suggesting people who eat less at certain hours of the day may raise the risk of developing fertility issues. But more studies are needed. Researchers in the U.S. are also up to their gills exploring the depths of anxiety and other mental health conditions.
And people realize that the genetic environment of the zebrafish and the patients is the same.
Scientists say their rise in popularity comes from the fact that they're cheaper to breed than mice and have a shorter life cycle.
And that gives you the opportunity to study organ development, to study the brain development or different kind of cancer diseases in a very short time.
Meaning they'll finish their research a lot quicker. Ian Lee, CBS News.
Now at 4, measurable snow partnered with dangerous cold has prompted numerous first warn weather days into the weekend. Just how low we drop in your first warn 5 forecast.
And those low temps will be felt by thousands of fans out at Arrowhead on Saturday. One doctor tells us how Red Kingdom can stay safe during their playoff game.
Plus, the Chiefs need one of their biggest players to have his biggest game, no matter how cold it gets. Scott Reese introduces us to the Chiefs' wild card weekend.
KCTV 5 News starts now with First Warn 5 weather.
Well, after a busy week of weather, temperatures will soon plummet.
Anniversary got its ass kicked too. Johnson County, Kansas. Oh, I knew we fucking meth guy.
What do you want?
They're crazier than me telling me that shit. He gets sued too. That's what grievances mean when you sue somebody because you have a grievance towards them.
That we talk about are those things that we want to warn people about and make sure that they're aware.
KCTV5's Nija Hood will bring us much more on the information that MODOK shared tonight, and that's live at 5. All right, the Miami Dolphins will try to bring the heat this weekend, but with our forecast, it may not matter much.
That's right, for sure. With the Arctic blast comes some health risks for fans on Saturday. KCTV5's Samantha Boring spoke with a doctor and has some good ideas on how you can try and stay warm. She's live at Arrowhead this afternoon. Samantha?
Hey, Brad, Sharon. Fans are still planning on being right here come Saturday to cheer on their Chiefs, though they are going to need a lot more than just a few hand warmers to bear this extreme cold snap we are expecting. St. Luke's Hospital is expecting an increase of calls for frostbite and hypothermia because they get that whenever temperatures reach single digits. Dr. Mark Larson says you'll want to bundle up and cover any exposed areas such as your hands, face, and nose. He also says it's good to have layers you can take off so you don't get overheated if you're in one of the warming stations throughout the parking lot and in the stadium. A lot of people also plan on drinking and tailgating before the game. He recommends to also have water nearby to stay hydrated.
We need the fans to be as loud and crazy as possible and support our team, but it is important to do that in moderation. Again, if you drink too much, you don't necessarily recognize the signs and symptoms that you may be having a medical condition, a medical emergency, and so it's really important not to overdo it.
Another thing to note, Dr. Larson says if you have asthma, to make sure you have your inhaler nearby, as the colder weather can make asthma much worse and harder to breathe. Fans can bring in cardboard to stand on, blankets with no zippers or pockets, and one closed water bottle. Dr. Larson also says if you are here at the game Saturday and anything feels off with your body, do not be afraid to ask for help. Live from Arrowhead, Samantha Boring, KCTV 5 News.
Yeah, you can't layer up enough come Saturday. Samantha, thank you. Okay, turning to the game itself now. If the Chiefs had one weakness this season, it was catching the ball.
Pretty much. KCTV 5 Sports Director Scott Reese joins us now with how the team will be counting on one of their biggest names to have one of their biggest games. Right, Scott?
Catching the ball, important, as I understand it, when it comes to football. All right, so if there is a wild card in this wild card round of the playoffs, it just might be the guy who has been Mr. Reliable for the entirety of the Chiefs' magical run, Travis Kelce. Now you say, wait, why is he a wild card? Well, over his last 3 games, Kelce is averaging a pedestrian 4 catches for 29 yards. Now, conventional wisdom suggests the Chiefs will need a lot more from him in the playoffs. The 34-year-old Kelce did a rare media session today, and of course, he was asked about the R word.
Not dumb, you fucking.
You guys think about retirement? Am I the only one in this boat? No. Or is anybody else in this thing? All right, bro. Whoever's not thinking about stuff down the road, you know, I blame you. I think it's just, I have no reason to stop playing football, man. I love it. We still have success. Come in with the right mindset, and I just love the challenge that it gives me every single day to try and be at my best.
Now, Trav made it clear he's focused on one thing and one thing only, that is beating Miami on Saturday. Guys, we'll hear much more from Kelce coming up at 6:30 on KC Sports Tonight.
Scott, thank you. Tune in Saturday as Scott and the rest of the KCTV5 sports team will get you ready for the game. It all kicks off 6 o'clock on Saturday with a special pregame edition of Price Chopper Game Day. Scott, Neil, Jared, and Marlia will all take you inside Arrowhead Stadium and break down what it's going to take for the Chiefs to beat the Dolphins. Then, tune back in after the game for all of the post-game coverage. You're going to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes as they continue down their road to repeat.
Well, continuing coverage now to a story that we've been following since this morning. A little after 10 today, firefighters responded to a substantial house fire in Kansas City. It broke out at a 2-story home at 30th and College Avenue. Now, when firefighters arrived, heavy smoke and flames were visible. A 60-year-old man inside the home was rescued from a rear stairwell suffering from smoke inhalation. He's now in the hospital and expected to recover. A firefighter was also transported for minor burns. There's no word yet on what caused that fire. Well, still ahead, Donald Trump speaks out what the former president said at his civil trial today.
Hunter Biden is back in court. Coming up, details on the charges he's facing.
Closed captioning brought to you by St. Luke's. When illness hits, we offer same-day care.
If you want the job done right the first time, you call Thrasher Foundation Repair. Thrasher waterproofing systems have been keeping basements dry and worry-free for over 45 years. There are plenty of people who can promise you a solution, but Thrasher delivers. You have a home and a family to protect, and our team of experts will give you the confidence you need to sleep at night. Schedule your free inspection today.
Another year of yo-yo dieting? Not this year. Hit reset and make a permanent change with permanent fat removal by Sono Bello.
With Sono Bello, day one, all my unwanted body fat gone.
These are my favorite pair of jeans that I couldn't even button up.
Look how flat my stomach is. I couldn't believe it was just gone.
I saw the results immediately, and this is the best I have felt since I was in my 20s.
Real women everywhere are transforming their bodies permanently. Sono Bello is not a fad diet or boot camp workout. It's a simple, proven way to remove stubborn body fat permanently and in just one visit.
I'm so happy. I just put this dress on that I haven't worn in over 10 years.
If you are looking for physical results and positive emotional results, please run, don't walk to your nearest Sono Bello.
Ready to hit reset? Find out how you can save $250 off instantly. Call now or go to sonobello.com.
Don't lose Medicaid coverage in 2023. CanCare consumers need to update and verify their information, including your address and phone number. Use CanCare's online virtual assistant to ensure you're covered. Learn more about renewing Medicaid coverage in 2023 and receiving coverage options from CanCare at getcoveredkansas.org/Kiera.
First Warn Weather is brought to you by Aetna Medicare Solutions.
Hunter Biden headed back to court this afternoon.
The president's son is in Los Angeles for his arraignment on tax charges. Danya Bacchus reports from the courthouse.
Hunter Biden's legal troubles brought him back to court in California to be arraigned on federal tax charges. He was expected to plead not guilty to 3 felony and 6 misdemeanor offenses. A plea deal to avoid prison fell apart last summer and was followed by an indictment accusing the president's son of a 4-year scheme to avoid paying at least $1.4 million in taxes. Prosecutors say he used that money to fund a lifestyle that included drugs and alcohol. Hunter Biden has talked openly about his drug addiction during the time period covered in the indictment, and he admits he was irresponsible with finances in those darker times. His court appearance comes a day after he paid a surprise visit to Capitol Hill.
Anything you want to say to the committee?
His arrival interrupted a hearing where lawmakers were weighing whether to hold him in contempt of Congress for defying a subpoena. He has accused right-wing lawmakers of trying to destroy his reputation.
They ridiculed my struggle with addiction. They belittled my recovery.
You did that shit to my ass, and you don't serve no fucking consequences toward it, other than being on meth real bad, going on vacations every fucking day.
In the California tax case, Hunter Biden's attorney says the special counsel who handled the case bowed to Republican pressure. If convicted, he could face up to 17 years behind bars. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Also in court today, former President Donald Trump. Coming up, we go to D.C. for details on his civil trial.
And later on in our newscast, we're digging into the design problems that caused a near disaster last week on an Alaskan Airlines flight.
We are also watching our next chance for some snow, especially for part of the area. I'll let you know about the winter storm warning now in place and who could see the most coming up in your First Warn 5 forecast.
This is KCTV5 News at 4. Current conditions, sponsored by Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Keeping you safe from severe weather is the most important thing we do.
It's why we created First Warn 5.
The best way to spot dangerous or disruptive weather.
First Warn 5 means when we know, you'll know.
Before it hits your neighborhood, only on KCTV5.
It's easy to think that all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how? You sell high commission investment products, right?
Nope, Fisher avoids them.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Never at Fisher Investments.
Okay, then you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we structure our fees so we do better when clients do better. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
A filthy furnace can cause lack of airflow and even health problems. Keep you and your family safe this winter and call MVP today to schedule your $79 furnace revitalization. Call MVP. Great service guaranteed.
It's lush green fairways that end at perfectly manicured greens. It's sand, water, and lines of trees to navigate. It's the miracle of planning that combines breathtaking natural beauty with legendary course design. It's Alabama's Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. Some say it's the best public golf on earth. Visit rtjgolf.com to plan your trip to the trail.
Car smashed right into the back of us. At the very bottom of my back was like a hairline fracture break, and it was enough to keep me out of work. I called Devon James because they were highly rated. They're great when it comes to keeping you up to date. Every time they called me, they were moving me forward. Devon James's family, they came through like heroes.
Former President Donald Trump back in court today for a civil fraud case.
At stake is potentially hundreds of millions of dollars in penalties and the Trump Organization's ability to do business in New York. For a closer look at this case, we're joined by KCTV5's Washington correspondent, Molly Martinez. Molly, the former president gave remarks today. Fill us in on what he said.
Hey, Brad and Sharon, great to see you. Yes, that is right. Donald Trump did give remarks today in his own civil fraud trial. He said that he is denying any wrongdoing. He called his financial records, quote, perfect. He said that he should be the one getting damages because the only fraud is against him. He also accused the judge of having ulterior motives and having his own agenda. He also called this a political witch hunt. All things we've heard from Donald Trump before. This is especially thorny because this case is 4 days before the Iowa caucus, so we're really starting to see how these pending legal trials are sort of interwoven with the campaign trail for Donald Trump. As you mentioned, this is a civil case. This is potentially $370 million in damages that Trump may have to pay. He's accused of inflating values of his property and then getting more beneficial loans, which ultimately save his enterprise money. That is what he is accused of, but once again, he is denying any wrongdoing.
And Molly, speaking of the Iowa caucus, Donald Trump continues to be the GOP frontrunner this election year. And then ahead of Monday's caucus, we've got some dropouts and some last-minute pushes. Now, catch us up to speed on the first big campaign event in 2024.
That's right, Sharon. The pool is getting a little less crowded for the Republican hopefuls. Chris Christie announced yesterday he is suspending his campaign. He said in an announcement that this is not the path forward to be the party's nominee. And so he is bowing out of the race, and that clears the path for Nikki Haley, for Ron DeSantis, and for Vivek Ramaswamy, who all have done real blitzes in Ohio. Nikki Haley especially spending a ton of money. We're learning she spent $15 million on TV ads last month alone. Whether or not that pays off remains to be seen. Iowa is a winner-take-all format for their caucus. And so far right now, Donald Trump is far and away the lead. So whether or not their efforts are going to make any headway or move any needles remains to be seen. But we'll find out on Monday.
Yep, we shall see. Thanks for your political perspective, Molly. And KCTV5 will be covering the caucus on Monday with live reports from Iowa. Starting this Saturday, our Betsy Webster will be providing reports with a close eye on the caucus process since Missouri Republicans will be caucusing this spring.
Well, no matter if we're talking about Iowa, Kansas, or Missouri, we are all about to get hit hard by the incoming cold.
That's right. As our weather team has been saying all week, these temperatures will be dangerous. Let's get over to First Warn 5 meteorologist Warren Sears to break down quite a serious forecast, right, Warren?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Brad. We are expecting tomorrow morning a chance for some measurable snow for some, but partnered with dangerous cold invading throughout the morning, pretty much as you're waking up. That's the reason why we have a First Warn weather day in place for Friday. Did it go ahead and extend that into Saturday also with obviously thousands and thousands of people going to the Chiefs game and just planning to be out and about. Saturday's temperatures will be below zero, wind chills, will be below zero all day with real temperatures temperatures in the single digits, so we need to limit our time outdoors for sure and limit that skin exposure. So 2 first warm weather days in place, and also that chance for snow is the kind of the first thing that we'll be watching. So that starts later on this evening into the overnight. We have 2 different advisories and warnings in place. One, winter storm warning farther to the north. That's across far northwest Missouri near the Iowa state line. This is the region of our broadcast reach that I do think is going to have the most snow and the biggest travel impacts. That's going to extend all the way up into Iowa. So if you have to travel north tomorrow, I highly suggest not. They have blizzard warnings in place throughout the entire state of Iowa. Now, the farther south you go, we are under winter weather advisories here in the metro. I don't want to discount that, but I don't think we'll see as much snow here, and the travel impacts won't be as severe. Still, nonetheless, a little wintry weather to start your morning. On top of that, also tomorrow, wind chill watches go in place for our western communities, so that does include Douglas, Franklin, Anderson counties, and that is going to last not just Friday, but through Tuesday of next week, because we are worried about wind chills well below zero all of those days. So get ready. It is about to be a bit messy for sure. We had a small little lull, little break this week, and now we're about to get active again. Right now, first warn 5 Doppler is mostly quiet. We do have a little bit of mist I've seen out there with some of our cameras, and some flurry activity farther to the north. This storm system, it's not as significant, but it is still in its infancy stage. So you can see the bands here just now starting to get together. So we don't have a lot to talk about right now, at least for the next few hours, but I do think that band starts to set up in northeast Kansas and northwest Missouri, closer to dinner. After that, this little wintry mix will be kind of on the edge here of the metro between the cutoff of that wintry mix and snow a little farther to the north. The matter of 10 miles is a huge difference here in this type of storm. So again, I do think the heaviest band will set up into the late evening and early overnight, and then a little bit of a wintry mix or a burst of snow early on the back edge of this tomorrow morning as that cold punch comes through. You see a little bit of this pink though. I'm slightly concerned about maybe a little glaze, patchy, but a little glaze of ice in some spots closer to the metro, and that's again because those temperatures will be right at the freezing mark, so I can't rule out some freezing drizzle. As far as snowfall totals here locally, I'm thinking the dusting maximum 2 inches, and that's likely going to be for those of you farther to the north, with everyone else probably on the lower end of that. Then 1 to 3, then 3 to 6, and even more in the northwest corner. So again, the confidence is really high as you go farther to the north with that. And any sort of ice, again, it would be minimal, but it only takes a little glaze to have some issues out the door early tomorrow morning. So again, that's why we have that first warm weather day in place. 31 is the current temperature right now. You can see a lot of us in those 30s, so that's why when we initially start to see this fall, it'll probably be as a wintry mix. Morning temperatures around 32 tomorrow. That's going to be at midnight. By the afternoon, 10 is our temperature. Colder wind chills well below zero for your afternoon and evening. And once we go down, we stay down. Saturday's high, only 7. Chiefs are home, kickoff right around 7 degrees. Wind chills will be well below zero. In your Security Bank 7-day forecast, real temperatures below zero Sunday, Monday, Tuesday mornings, and highs some days only in the single digits. That 26 next Wednesday is going to feel quite warm until we get there. Pretty dangerous conditions. Don't want to overshadow that, Brad.
Yeah, dangerous indeed, Warren. Thank you. Still ahead, Kansas City comes together to fight human trafficking. In about 10 minutes, we're going to hear about efforts to raise awareness on this serious issue.
And Boeing's quality control is under the microscope after last week's near disaster on an Alaskan airline flight. Coming up, what we've learned in the federal investigation.
And KCTV5 wants to help you make a job connection. The Missouri Department of Transportation is hiring mechanic and equipment technicians for Independence, Lee Summit, Kansas City, and Odessa. Competitive wages and benefits are offered. Just scan the QR code to find out more.
Your First Warn 5 7-day forecast is brought to you by Security Bank.
101 The Fox is the home of classic rock. 101 The Fox, classic rock for KC and the entire heartland.
I got hurt in a car wreck and I see all these lawyers on TV. Which one should I choose?
Choose Mike. You could get a free consultation and his team will start working for you for no money up front.
And you don't pay them a dime unless they win your case. You've got nothing to lose.
Mike's team got me $250,000 for my car wreck.
Mike's got this.
I'm confident my law firm is the right one for you. Call me. I've got this.
Call 816-888-7500.
Icon is seeking healthy, non-smoking men and women ages 18 to 65 to participate.
Gotta get it. Some biotechnical shot. She's holed up in a Corpo hotel. Security's tight. I need me a murk who's up to the task. Anyway, you know you like a challenge.